Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here, and it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. The Doctor is in. That's right, we are here to see the next reveal of another of the 4 champions of chaos. And number 2 is the leader of the Fecondites, which of course we saw kind of hinted at on accident a little while back by Creative Assembly, but the time has come to actually see his little movie trailer and then talk about the blog that they will have out giving us further details on none other than Dr. Festus, which I am so excited. Festus the Leechlord is one of my favorite Chaos characters. He has an excellent story, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to be portrayed, so let's check it out. Turn it up a little bit. Oh, there he is! He's got the little demon on his, oh my god, look at him! Ooh, those legs. Oh, I love his little demon. I like how he's just completely uninvested in the fight. Oh, he looks so gross. Insufficient. He's looking for ingredients, man. Oh, look, it's... Okay, that's the helmet from the Beastman trailer. Oh, look at this. It's like a who's who of things. Okay, okay, we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this. It's from the dwarf trailer. It's from the lizard or the vampire coast. Oh, okay, he's upset. Very upset. Stonehorn. Oh, look at the war shrine! Of course. I love the muse.
The ingredient was life, and it has so willingly come.
I love his voice. He's got the Nordlander accent. Ooh, it's got a good sound. It's got a good little soundtrack too. So Festus has the same accent as Marcus Wolfhart, which makes sense. They're from the Northern Empire. So I guess Creative Assembly have decided that the Northern Empire are Scots, which is interesting. I love the accent on Festus. I think it sounds great. So that's so funny that this little demon is finding all these parts that have no right being on this battlefield. That's the helmet from the Call of the Beastmen trailer that Kazrak gets and like offers to the Dark Gods. That's the gyrocopter part we see the dwarfs or the dwarf character trying to get in the dwarf reveal trailer for Warhammer 1. And then that's of course part of the that's one of the lizard trinkets that Luther Harkin is looking for in the Vampire Coast trailer. I love this little demon dude. He's so ugly, but also like kind of adorable at the same time. Don't get mad at him, Festus. He's trying his best, okay? He's literally trying his best. God, I love the way he looks.
Of course. The ingredient was life, and it has so willingly come.
I love the way Festus looks. I love the way he looks. Like, I love his giant, like, his just big sack chin. That thing is full of so much gross fluid. It looks fantastic. He looks great. He looks absolutely great. I love his big tentacle mutation. Oh, he looks great. He looks absolutely magnificent. They did a really, really good job bringing him to life. All right, so super pleased with this. Let's go ahead and hop into his blog post here. So we've got introducing Festus the Leechlord, probably one of I would say Festus is in probably my top 10 of anticipated characters. Very, very excited to play with him. God, look how messed up his legs are. He's got like ropes binding them together because they're so like just bleh. Hello, Total War Warhammer community. Today we're revealing the second legendary lord joining the Champions of Chaos Lords pack, Festus the Leechlord. Dr. Festus is a deranged devotee of Nurgle who pledged a lifetime of service to the Plague God in return for his forbidden knowledge. He goes to war with few intentions beyond furthering his revolting studies of sickness, ailments, and plagues. It's a far better fate to die in the battlefield than to be captured for the Doctor's experiments. And oh, look at the new Nurgle boys! Look at that Chaos Sorcerer! That Chaos Sorcerer looks so good! He's got like the antlers. I don't know where the antler thing comes from for Nurgle, but Nurgle has a really big thing for antlers. And he looks absolutely fantastic. Look at the Marauders. You can see how like molted their skin is. Looks like Nurgle boys have like really messed up skin, which is good. That's what we want. But that Sorcerer looks, and he's got like a sickle staff. Oh, he looks so good. He looks so good. All right, on the battlefield, long forgetting the Hippocratic Oath he so vehemently preached as a mortal. I mean, he's still technically mortal, but, you know, whatever. Festus can be found concocting a variety of horrific potions and unleashing Lord Nurgle spells, both of which allow him to manipulate the battlefield in insidious ways. While his healing elixir's ability replenishes the hit points of his own combatants, the Harbinger of Pestilence ability instead deals damage to enemy combatants. Yet there's a catch. Both act more like toggleable passive abilities that are mutually exclusive to use, meaning only one of the two can be active at a time. That sounds really, really strong. So either he's healing everyone around him, or he's hurting all, or so either he's healing allies or he's damaging enemies. So he's kind of like a Mortis engine, but it can only have one of its effects active at a time. That sounds really, really strong. That sounds very strong, because Mortis engine effects, you can never underestimate those things. Faction effects. Vassals gain poisoned attacks and spread Nurgle corruption. Damn, all right. Can brew plagues, all right. He gets plus 25 souls whenever he spreads a plague. Oh, okay, that's cool. So they have unique ways to earn souls potentially. And then Lord effects. On local armies, Festus gives plus 3 turns to plagues, and he has plus 25% additional healing cap. Oh my! That is really strong on Nurgle. When you think about how massively overpowered Nurgle's healing spell is, and also he's gonna have a healing ability, and also presumably he'll have access to the little army abilities that Nurgle gets, so like that's even more healing. And then he heals whenever he casts a spell from the Lord of Nurgle once he gets the passive. Like, that is so much healing. So having an additional healing cap, yeah, that sounds pretty strong. That sounds pretty fucking strong, I'm gonna be honest. God, I'm so excited to play Nurgle Warriors, dude. I am so excited to play Nurgle Warriors. Like, don't get me wrong, I love all my Warhammer babies, but Nurgle, when it comes to the dark powers, Nurgle is just he's just above everybody else. And these warriors look so good. I love Nurgle Warriors of Chaos. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the color scheme or just what they represent or what have you, but I love the way they look. They just look really, really good. Yeah. Oh God, I'm so excited for Festus. He looks absolutely disgusting. Like, he looks so much worse than his tabletop model does, because there's just something about seeing that body in 3D. Like, these legs, man, those are hideous. Like, the way the flesh is just super overgrown and flabby and like full of, like, Festus just looks like he's full of liquid. Like, Kugoth is fat, right? Like, Kugoth's a big boy, but Kugoth is just kind of morbidly obese kind of Nurgle. And, you know, he's got like the big mouth and stuff. I do wish that we had Nurgle characters with like their entrails hanging out, kind of the classic Grin Unclean One look. But I understand that they went with like the big mouths because A, it lets them vomit on people, which is totally cool. B, the mouths having tongues and teeth and stuff is very grotesque. And C, funny enough, I think that's actually easier for them to get away with age rating wise than the hanging out entrails is. but Festus is like a different kind of unsettling from Kugoth. Like Kugoth's just a really big fat guy on a throne, right? Whereas like you look at Festus's legs and the way the fat hangs on his body, and Festus looks like he's filled with liquid. I forget what the disease is called. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but like it's Festus is a disease that humans can get, and it's like super painful when you have like limbs filled up with all that liquid. So like Festus should be in horrible agony, but Nurgle, so he doesn't mind. He's got that huge warbling chin throat thing sack. I don't know what to call it, but he looks disgusting, and I am so pleased with Festus. Festus, he just, I don't know, I just feel like I love him a lot. Kugoth Plaguefather is kind of like the ultimate plague crafter, whereas if you're kind of wondering what the difference between the two of them is, Kugoth Plaguefather is more of like the ultimate plague master. Like, he is truly unbeatable when it comes to the designing of plagues. Dr. Festus is more like the ultimate alchemist for Nurgle. So he is an individual that although he can and is good at brewing plagues, he actually specializes much more in creating potions that have all sorts of wild effects. Whether that's like having tremendous healing properties on Nurgle servants, or having horrible effects on his enemies. And if you're like, well, so Kugoth, you're only ever going to see unleashing diseases and plagues, whereas Festus, you can actually see even more frightening varieties of things, where Festus is the kind of guy that likes to create some kind of horrible potion, and he brings, like, he'll grab you by the neck and start, forcing it down your throat. And it doesn't necessarily give you a horrible disease, but it might be a very, very acidic creation that literally like melts your flesh off and melts your bones and everything. Or it causes you to start rapidly mutating. Or it causes like your body to like start building up lots of gases or fluids and explode and like all these really horrible effects. But I think the best way to kind of note them is that Kugoth is more of the plague in the sense that he works on a much bigger scale, and he's much more concerned with like unleashing these massive epidemics or pandemics. Whereas Dr. Festus is much more intimate. He's your personal doctor. Dr. Festus likes to get in there real close, and he's grabbing people and like forcing potions on them, or like unleashing his like taking his vat and stewing it out, like having his little demon throw that whatever the hell he's got back there all over the people near him, and all the Nurgle warriors are just like basking in the disgusting goo that's being thrown at them, and as it heals their wounds and like fills up any holes in their bodies with giant tumors, and they're like, ah, yes, grandfather's blessings. So I'm so excited we got both of these characters. But I just kind of want to talk about that, because I feel like some people could look at Festus and kind of be like, isn't this just Kugoth but smaller? But no, they're actually quite different entities. Though you can understand that the two of them actually do see eye to eye very much, and they're very good allies / friends. During the end times, we actually finally got to see Dr. Festus and Kugoth Plaguefather working together. When Dr. Festus had actually snuck his way into the sewers of Altdorf, and from there he was concocting these really awful and terrible plagues, and he ended up brewing such a terrifyingly awful thing that not only when it was unleashed on Altdorf did it have a devastating effect on a lot of people in the city, but he created such a terrible contagion that it literally kind of like diseased reality, and it allowed Kugoth Plaguefather to manifest himself within the city from the sewers. Basically, Dr. Festus created a disease so awful with the help of Kugoth Plaguefather that he basically tore open a gateway to let Kugoth in, and it also ripped open essentially a gateway above Altdorf, so that the realm of Nurgle was infesting reality. Like the fabric of reality between Nurgle's garden and Altdorf had almost entirely broken down. So like people could see like the form of Nurgle forming in the skies above them, and it was like raining pus and mucus that was like horribly enhanced by Nurgle's power. And Altdorf was a really bad place to be during the invasion of the Glotkin. But the Glotkin's invasion would have not had a chance if it wasn't for Dr. Festus. Because not only did he deliver a critical blow to Altdorf's defenses, but he also broke down reality itself, which allowed a lot of demons to manifest much more easily. Kugoth got to show up on the battlefield, and although Kugoth was ultimately slain by Lewin Leyenkur during their duel, Leyenkur was basically crippled after he killed Kugoth Plaguefather. He was regenerating and healing, but his body was essentially broken. And before he could really rally his strength, Festus caught up to him, because Dr. Festus was pissed that Leyenkur had killed Kugoth Plaguefather, because Kugoth Plaguefather is like the ultimate servant of Nurgle. It's Grandfather's greatest champion, and seeing Grandfather's greatest champion get killed made Festus very upset, and he ends up catching up with Leyenkur. And although Leyenkur tries to fight him, he's just too weak at that point, and Festus is frighteningly strong despite what he looks like. He is very strong, and he basically gets a hold of Leyenkur and uses his doctor's scalpel blade, and he decapitates Lewin. He literally just saws through his neck and then just rips his head off. So Leyenkur dies, and after Leyenkur dies, Vlad von Karstein shows up, and Vlad von Karstein is very upset because he actually liked Leyenkur a lot, despite the fact Leyenkur did not care for him very much. They didn't really get a chance to talk, but Vlad saw Leyenkur's fight and was like, that guy is a man of caliber. And Vlad was very personally offended when Festus essentially fought dirty and killed Lewin while he was still broken, essentially. It was a very dirty fight, but Nurgle was very, very pleased at Festus getting revenge. So Nurgle actually started to elevate Dr. Festus to demonhood. He started glowing, and like the power of Nurgle was like surging through his veins, and he was ascending to become a demon prince. And then Vlad attacked him, and the two of them fought. And at first, Vlad does get the jump on him, but Festus kind of figured out he was there, and Festus just one-shots Vlad. Like, he just basically hits him so hard that he instantly kills him. But Vlad doesn't really care about dying, which is often why Vlad fights very recklessly, and he tends to die a lot in engagements, is because he uses himself dying as a really clever move to basically like confuse and mess with people. But Vlad, like, despite his best efforts, realized he could not kill Festus through normal means. But Vlad is very, very smart and is actually a pretty good sorcerer in his own right. And he realizes that Festus is basically like being completely and utterly overtaken with like the energies of unnatural life. So what does Vlad do? Vlad takes a stake. I don't remember where he got it. Like, I think he broke it off a piece of a stall that he was thrown into while they're fighting in the streets, or it was from like some other earlier thing. I don't remember where he got it. I'm pretty sure he just like picked it up somewhere randomly. But he impales. Festus did not know Vlad could come back to life, so he just thinks Vlad is dead. So Vlad manages to surprise him and basically bursts out of this broken stall holding this dead piece of wood, and he impales Festus through the heart with it. And Festus normally would not be killed by, just a piece of wood impaling him. Nurgle's followers are generally harder to kill than that. However, this piece of wood, which is dead, starts getting heavily infused with all of this life, even though it's unnatural life energy, this massive amount of life energy, and it starts rapidly, like, basically regenerating into a tree inside of Festus. And Festus, to his horror, because he can't control, any of this magic that's going through him, basically it just kind of starts growing and basically just rips him apart. Vlad basically did the equivalent of, if you've ever had like you remember all the Ant-Man and Thanos theories, kind of the idea of putting something small inside someone and then expanding it and just causing them to like, that's basically what happens to Festus. It just grows into a tree, and Festus gets literally ripped apart, and kind of all of that power that was supposed to go into him, it ends up killing him instead, which is a suitable irony for Chaos characters. And of course, Grandfather is very upset because Festus just fucking dies. He dies. So he fails to ascend to demonhood. Vlad manages to catch him right at the gate and kills him. And that was the end of Dr. Festus until he magically reappeared in AOS, and there's still zero explanation how he did that, but he's back, which is cool if you like playing him. So if you're an Age of Sigmar player, this is one of the special characters that's actually still around that you could play on your Maggotkin of Nurgle army. I don't know if he's good, but you know, he's in the game. In any event, very, very excited for Festus. I think I've already talked way too much considering a ton of information. I'm really excited that he can brew plagues. It seems like I'm curious if his plague system is going to be different from Kugoth's. Like, is he going to have different plagues? Or are they going to have different effects? I'm really, really interested to see what that's going to look like, because they could give him the exact same system that Kugoth has, and I would not be upset by any means. Though, you know, it'd be cool to see if it has different effects. I do think it'd be cool to maybe give him his own unique disease or two, because Festus is notorious for having created a few diseases of his own. So, you know, it could be nice to see one of those. But I will say that, speaking of Nurgle diseases, and I really just need to like reach out to a CA dev, but I really hope they go back and fix one of the nerfs they did to the plagues. There was a plague symptom that used to give you attrition damage. It was one of the two like bonus effects you could apply to a base plague, and it just added attrition damage if it didn't already do attrition damage. So it wouldn't give you more attrition if you already caused it, but it would add attrition so that the other 4 diseases were still helpful, or could still hurt you. And they ended up nerfing it to making it where now it only gives more attrition damage. So it literally has 0 effect except for 1 type of plague, instead of having an effect for 4 types of plague. And I really think they should revert that change. They've already done like a pretty good amount of debuffs for the plagues. And I mean, feel free to let me know down in the comment section if like you have had a lot of bad struggles with the plagues now that they've been nerfed. They've been nerfed, I believe, in the last update. So like, are y'all finding it like, yeah, no, the plagues aren't a big deal? Or like, no, they're still really nasty and I'm still taking way too much damage from them? Like, let me know what y'all think. I personally have not struggled very much against plagues, but I'd like to know what y'all think. And I really think they should restore that effect to being does damage if the plague already does not do damage, because like I only get 2 bonus slots and there's a lot of really cool powers. So I feel like that one did not need to be nerfed like that. But in any event, thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know what y'all think of Festus and his trailer. I personally loved it. I think Festus's characterization was great, and I'm really glad we got to hear him talk. Like, the Azazel trailer was cool, don't get me wrong, but Azazel just didn't say anything, and that to me was kind of lame. Like, I want to hear the voice actors. Like, they're a massive part of the experience. And Azazel, we didn't get to hear him say anything really until his Let's Play. Which I am very looking forward to the Let's Play for Kugoth. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think of the Chaos Warriors of Nurgle we've seen so far. You know, here we kind of see the Knights, but they're a little far away. But here we could see the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, because we know there is no Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle yet, at least not right now. There's only a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. So this is the new generic Lord for Nurgle. But the Marauders look really good. I love that they've got like rotting flesh. That's nice. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you around. Bye.